Welcome to Getting Some Head. I am Michael fucking Rainey, and this is my brand new interview show. Rob Crews, how the heck are you, buddy?
I feel so good. I'm so honored to be the first one, dude.
When I was thinking, like, who could be the first guest that I could, whose big, beautiful brain I can dig into, you're the first person that I thought of.
Dude, thank you. I'm very excited for that. I don't think I've ever done anything like that. It's usually just the bros chilling. So it's fun to do something that's kind of pointed. I guess like this and like Digibazooks are like the only like pointed shows I've really done.
Yeah, most of the shit that I've done has just been very loosey-goosey, just shooting the shit like, you know, what if Spider-Man had Down syndrome and you just riff on it for like 35 minutes, yeah. Then do a fucking Manscaped ad, yeah. Which is cool. But also, I like learning about people, and so many of the people that I usually have on as guests for whether it's Dad Meat or Little Stinkers, they're such interesting people. And they just kind of poo-poo that. And it's just like, yeah, I just do comedy now. Whereas, you know, especially like in your case, like you've led such a full life. And there's so many different things about you that I think are interesting. But on top of that, too, there's so many things that I know that I don't know about you that I really want to learn.
Beautiful, dude.
So the format is I'm just going to ask you questions. And if there's anything you want to ask me, go ahead, let it rip.
Please.
But, you know, if you don't mind, I'd like to get started. I'd like to get inside that beautiful brain of yours.
Please, baby.
All right, baby. Here we go. Rob, can you tell me about your earliest memory?
Oh, man. I don't know if it's the earliest, but I remember going behind a couch, squatting down and shitting myself. That was pretty early.
It's funny you brought that up because I did have another intentional shitting question. So
yeah,
two birds of one stone, man.
Yeah.
Did you know you were being a bad boy, or were you just like, all right, this feels good, I want to do it, and I just don't want to be seen?
I was purely chasing anal bliss. There was no thought behind it.
Yeah, it's so hard to beat just getting away with shitting somewhere where you know you shouldn't shit and nobody else knows.
Yes, and then when they do find out, no one's that mad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know, people are pissed when I do that now. Nah, I'm always peeping spaces behind the couch, dude.
That's why I put a plant back there, dude.
Yeah.
It's like when they put spikes up outside of benches in buildings to prevent the homeless.
Yes,
dude, I'm Rob-proofing my room.
No, truly, dude. I would crap everywhere. I had a big problem with that.
When did it stop?
Man. Probably like elementary schoolish age, but yeah, I was like an infant. But yeah, I would hold it in for a while, and then just unleash. And then trying to think, another early memory might have been like 5. Now, I want to preface this by saying like my dad fucking rules. Okay,
yeah,
he's a good dude. He just came up a different way than I did. But when the basement was unfinished, when I was being real bad, there was a high chair down there. He would just bring me in the high chair, put me in the high chair, turn the lights off, go upstairs.
Oh my God, dude.
And you know what, dude? That taught me a lot.
Like what?
How to make your own fun. A big game I used to do was squint really hard and try and grab the squigglies.
Rob,
and I feel like that was the birth of the beast. But then my mom put the kibosh on that. Pretty soon. I think that only happened a handful of times. But that's just how he came up. Other than that, all aces from Papa Cruz. He's like the sweetest guy. He's never done anything crazy.
You think he was training you to develop some kind of sense, or?
I don't know, dude. I think it could have been just like I was such a hyperactive kid that he was just like, I don't know what to do, dude. And then but he admits it, which is nice. He did. Like my mom was like, that never happened. My dad was like, I did that shit.
Yeah, dark basement is
nice.
like, it's like Kitty's Xanax.
Yeah,
like, it will chill you the fuck out.
Yeah, it really did a lot because it teaches you acceptance. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know you're fucked, so there's nothing you can do, and you could just sit there and cry quietly because you know if only your dad's there, he's not going to open that door back up.
Yeah. But no, I do want to say shout out to my dad. He rules.
Yeah,
he's a very sweet man. What?
CD business still cooking?
CD business? Oh yeah. I thought you said seedy like
like running prostitutes or something.
Yeah. But yeah, he's still selling the vintage discs in his retirement, and he's loving that, dude. Shout out Don's Vintage Discs on Macari.
Would you ever consider when he reaches an age where he's really compromised as an older man, locking him in the basement?
I really should, dude. Yeah, because basically what's happening is he's slowly turning into a baby. So now it's mine time. And then I think by the time he's like full like baby age, I will be around the age he was. So that'll be poetic justice. Except the basement's finished now, so.
Oh, no, it's not as scary.
It's not as scary, yeah.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to have to make the chair pretty high.
That would be so nice, though. Like, do you think he would know as soon as he saw a man-sized high chair in the basement what was up?
Yeah, I think he would. Truly. And then I would probably have to do like a Saw situation. Have the TV in the corner like for playing a game, dude. Put a key behind his eye.
Damn, Rob. Good to know, brother.
Yeah, man.
Rob, when you see a retarded lady with massive jugs, how do you feel towards God?
Thankful.
Okay.
And I feel very, I just feel nice. You know, it makes me realize how small I am in the grand scheme, you know? It's kind of like looking at like a sunset or like a mountain. Yeah. You're like, damn, I'm just a speck, truly.
Do you think God will do that sometimes? Like when he really rattles somebody's brain, it's just like, I got to do something nice.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it makes our suffering worth it. That's like a huge philosophical debate on God's existence. Like if he's real, then what's the deal with suffering? And you know, I think suffering is necessary because, but what is that old adage? You need the rainy days to appreciate the sunny ones.
You truly do, yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's what it is. Because if the world was all righteous jugs, I wouldn't even notice those.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Need the slow lady jugs to really make you appreciate the bigger normal lady jugs.
I think so.
I think so too, man. Do you think the slow ladies are appreciative of their jugs, or do you think they're just like
slow?
Yeah.
Do you mean like retarded ladies? Yeah. Yeah. Do they appreciate them? No. But I think that's. I mean, ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do they appreciate it? I think they appreciate everything.
They really are. They live in the moment.
Yeah. And
I feel like they are definitely more attuned to present moment living than the average person is thinking like, all right, I got to pick up my dry cleaning. I got to go food shopping. I got to do this. Where, you know, they're just like, man, this pudding is delicious.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. And then, but I guess that begs the question, if you appreciate everything, do you appreciate anything? Because does appreciation only exist in the world of not appreciating?
Dude, and I think the equalizer for that is in wrestling. Because of how much they love wrestling, like they get fired up.
Yeah.
If their guy doesn't win, they are fucking pissed. So I think that's
them not appreciating.
Yeah, that's the tool that God used to be like, yo, you just spent the night at WWE Raw.
Yes.
Like, cool your jets. You got a belly full of soda and hot dogs.
Right.
And you had pretty decent seats. Maybe put things into context.
Yeah. I think that's true, man. I get jealous of them from time to time. But then sometimes I'm like, yeah, that stinks. Being retarded sucks.
I think we all get a shot, though, relative to your, I don't know, a broader philosophical point. I think we all get to be retarded at some point.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And I think I'm fresh out of my retardation shell coming into this life.
Yeah. And how does it feel?
Pretty good, but at the same time, it's like I still have that retard rust.
Right.
Like I feel like I'm still trying to shake it off. Like,
yeah.
I do feel like, all right, I do want to be smarter. I do want to engage my brain in different ways and learn new things.
Yeah.
But I also do know that I'm very easily confused.
Yeah, I get that too. Yeah, most of my life, I would say, like, I was pretty retarded. And then I was kind of, like, institutionalized by it. Like, when I came out of it, I was almost, like, at the end of Shawshank, where I just hang myself. Like, I missed it, you know? But now I'm awake, and it kind of stinks. But there's a lot of upside with being awake, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just talking with Del Calo last night, one of the times where I feel like I was like at the height of my guilty pleasures was I was fresh out of high school, and I would just spend my days just drinking 40s with my two buddies.
Yeah.
And there was a period in, I think it was maybe fall of '96, where McDonald's ran a $1 triple cheeseburger deal. And on any given day, me and my two buddies might have had $10 amongst the three of us, but it was like we were in heaven because we could afford 40s and McDonald's. But in hindsight, it's like, man, you guys are fucking losers. But there was no concept of that realization.
Yeah, exactly. And I miss the times where doing that kind of stuff wasn't loser shit. Like, that's the time you should be doing it.
Yeah.
That was kind of hard to get out of for me.
Yeah.
Where I'm still doing some loser stuff, but like I was especially like drinking every night, like I'm training for a sorority. Like, that was awesome in my early 20s, and then I started doing it alone when my girlfriend wasn't home, and then I'm like, damn, that's not as righteous.
It does feel good.
Not as righteous, yeah. But yeah, I'll do it once in a while.
Rob, can you tell me about your favorite pet?
Damn, that's so hard, man. I gotta say it's my cat, Captain.
Cat.
Yeah, because he's like the first pet that's mine. Like all the pets I've had were family dogs. And I love those too. But yeah, I think it's a special connection I have with Captain because I lived in Philly for 4 years, and I lived in the neighborhood in Center City, and then I hopped to East Kensington to West Philly to Port Richmond, back to Jersey now. And he's been with me the whole time, and like a lot has changed in my life throughout that, and Captain's been the constant. So I feel like a very emotionally close to him.
Yeah, does he adjust well to moves?
He does now. Yeah, the first one or two, he was like meowing for a few days, but now like he's like, this is what's up. That maybe I'm home. Wherever I am, he's like, I'm home, dude.
Aw, dude, that's really lovely, man.
Yeah, I love that guy.
I think that's the case with pets. It's like wherever you are, there you are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, I think it just as an adult, you appreciate pets so much more because life, it doesn't love you all the time. Like at least when I was a kid, I experienced a surplus of love as a kid.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the retard thing.
Yeah.
When everything is fucking John Cena, is anything John Cena. And that's how it was as a kid. And I still love the pets, but I feel like more like I need my cat now.
Yeah.
And instead of like, that's a nice to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like a PlayStation, my dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does feel like more of a luxury back then. And the pet I'm thinking of right now, right before I met my wife, I got a dog. His name, I named him Head because I was heavy in the corn. And eventually I just kind of like passed him off with my family. But
a freak off the leash.
He was a sweet dog. And the funniest thing he ever did was my Aunt Patsy, my morbidly obese aunt who once left me $5,000, God rest her soul. She was like watching him one day by default.
Yeah.
She did not want to take care of her dog. But, at this point, like I had met my wife and, I was getting pretty regular pussy. So it was really a special time for me. And I really, the dog was my family's at this point because I had my wife.
Yeah.
And there was one day where I came home and Aunt Pat had two black eyes. And I was like, what happened? She's like, that fucking dog yanked me outside. It turns out somebody came to the front door and Head went charging for the door. And Aunt Patsy was close to the door to open it. But she grabbed the dog as he was about to lunge toward the door. As she was opening the door, and the dog, he was a strong dog.
Yeah.
He yanked her outside onto the front porch.
Ooh, damn.
But, in hindsight, I wish I had appreciated that dog more because he was pretty fun.
Yeah, but I get that. There's it's like a Toy Story thing where you're done with your toys a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you find new toys.
Yeah, and it's, that has made me a better pet father to my cats now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. New family.
Rob, what's the weirdest crime you've ever committed?
Weirdest crime? Trying to think of like a weird crime.
You strike me as somebody who might have just gotten into like some kind of of fun pranks or something like that.
Yeah. Like I did like Ding Dong Ditch and stuff like that when I was a kid. I mean, I was like arrested in 6th grade. I think I told you about that.
Tell me again, because I don't recall the
Yeah,
circumstances.
it was so dumb. Like, I was in 6th grade, and everyone used in Voorhees, New Jersey. I don't know if you know the Flyers skate zone.
Oh yeah, I used to go there a lot.
Yeah, that's where the Flyers practice, but they would have free skate on Friday nights, and that's where all the kids went on Friday nights. So I was wearing like a Metallica shirt. I had like the swooshy hair, and like this kid Tyler, he was in 7th grade, and then he told me I was emo, and it's like, dude, I'm wearing a Metallica shirt. I'm clearly fucking metal, dude. I am not emo. And then I was like, I'll see you on the ice. So I threw
Chilling words, man.
Oh yeah, and then I threw a funnel cake at him
On the ice.
Yeah, and then we started fighting, and then my other friend, I don't want to name him, they owned a prominent restaurant in the surrounding areas, but he was my friend, and then he jumped in and started hitting this kid.
Does it rhyme with Booth's piss?
No, I'll tell you afterward. I don't know if you've been there.
Okay.
But yeah, so then nothing really came of it afterwards. And I didn't even really want to fight. I just thought it was the cool kid thing to do. Like I was terrified the whole time. And then his parents like pressed charges, because Voorhees, New Jersey is like a pretty affluent neighborhood, So, I feel like if that happened in a different neighborhood, that's, it would have got forgotten about. You know what I mean? But that was a big deal there. So his parents pressed charges, and then I had to go get my mugshot and stuff like that. And then nothing really happened to me. Like the judge kind of realized it's just kind of boys being boys. Yeah. So he said I had 6 months probation. I didn't have to check in with the probation officer or anything like that. He was like, just don't get in trouble.
Okay. So
that's all that happened to me. But then the other guy, my friend, he didn't even show up to court. He moved to Canada.
Because of this?
I think so, but like he was also big into hockey, so he ended up doing it there. But I thought that was so weird. I was like, no, nothing happened, dude. It wasn't a big deal. But yeah, that's my criminal past.
Now, did they send you to juvie, or did you just go to the local police station?
Just the local police station. I got booked.
Whoa.
And I got the mug shot, and then they just got my information down, and then like my parents like countersued them. It was so silly. And then, yeah, nothing came of it at all. It was such a huge waste of time. And then I remember his lawyer was like big on the dramatics. He was like, I remember even having the wherewithal as like a 6th grader being like, this guy's a cornball, their lawyer. Like he said something to the extent of like, I'm hungry for justice. I was like, this guy is such a faggot. And I remember.
Did your lawyer make that counterpoint? Your Honor, this guy is such a faggot.
It was actually pretty tight. My lawyer was like a family friend.
Oh.
And then, I remember they showed like pictures of proof of like bruises and stuff like that, but he also played hockey.
Yeah.
So it was just a very silly thing, and nothing really happened to me, and I was fine. But I think that that whole situation was, one, the product of me trying to look cool in front of my friends. I was totally being a poser. Like I would say like I'm tougher now than I was then, and I'm still afraid to do that.
Yeah, well, you feel terrible.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't tell you about fights. It's like any fight that I've ever been in, whether it's been justified or not, I always felt bad afterwards.
Yes.
You're very emotional. You wish it didn't happen. Sometimes you kind of have to, but at the same time, I think as a decent human being, there's something in you that doesn't want to do that to another person.
No, it's
no matter how justified you are.
Yeah. You have that pit in your stomach where you just feel horrible that violence happened. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was, second of all, it was also a product of being like in an affluent neighborhood.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like, because you have to like spend money on lawyers and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's so silly. So yeah, I think that was the math of it all.
Jesus, Rob. Rob, how do you think you'll die?
Alzheimer's or dementia.
Oh, nice.
If it's not like a bus hit or something like that, you know what I mean? If I'm not like Lenin, it'll be like, it'll be that, because that runs pretty prevalent in my family. Like both maternal grandma and grandpa died of that. Grandma had dementia. Grandpa had Alzheimer's. And then my dad's side was cancer. So I guess like either like cancer or that. And then, but yeah, I remember I used to fuck my grandpa a lot because
what?
But because I was like 7 and I didn't understand the severity of like Alzheimer's. You know what I mean? I just thought he was being goofy as hell.
Yeah.
So I remember he had loose skin that was like very wrinkly and like really protruding veins.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, Pop, you got worms in your hands. And he would like start screaming.
Yeah, it's an insane trait to do.
Because he didn't even know who I was, you know? He was like, damn, this random ass kid tell me I got worms in my hands. Or I think he thought I was like his brother or something like that.
Dude, yeah.
Stop it, Steve! Or something like that, you know? And yeah. So yeah, I think that, but I think there's like a little bit of a beauty in it if you like get over the absolutely terrifying elements of it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, I'm probably gonna leave not missing anyone or anything, which is nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's the hardest part of dying is, you know, being like, oh fuck, it's over, man. I'm gonna miss coming and my kids and stuff like that. Like my last words is probably gonna be like banana. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's a very comforting way to look at that.
Yeah.
I do hope that any way that you die, I do hope that one, there's an open casket, and two, I hope they leave your eyes open because you have very beautiful eyes.
Yes. Yeah. Remember me for my best parts, please.
In that case, they should also put your dick out.
Michael.
Rob, what's the fattest you've ever been?
Probably recently. It was 224. And on 5'7", that's thick. And yeah, now I'm down like 45 pounds.
Do you feel good?
I do feel good. Just day-to-day stuff is a little easier. The confidence is a little up. And granted, full disclosure, as you know, the Ozempic has helped. I'm juicing.
You're also working out, though.
I'm also lifting, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, I don't know. For me, I just needed to take it out of my hands. You know, that for me, I looked at it more as like liquid hope. Because I was like, oh fuck, it's actually gonna happen. I'm actually gonna lose weight. You know, and that helped.
How quickly did you start noticing results when you were taking Ozempic?
Like within the first month, I was like visible difference.
Whoa.
You know, and then yeah, that it's pretty noticeable now. I think to me, and then yeah, it's nice, and I feel like it really helped me change lifestyle and like start doing better habits. Yeah. Like it forced me to have better habits. And I feel like changing the lifestyle is kind of the hardest part as well. So yeah, I've had a good experience with it. I know it's like, I don't know, certain people feel differently about it, but
if you
gotta, yeah, you gotta, yeah.
Do you think you're going to have a shirtless summer?
I'm hoping. I'm aiming for it. I truly am. I want abs by the summer.
Oh man,
that's my aim because I've never had abs in my life. So I just want to experience it once. Yeah.
Damn, dude. Rob, what's the funniest movie you've ever seen?
Fuck, that's hard. I always loved Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
Oh.
And man, there's so I loved Forgetting Sarah Marshall. That was like one of my favorite movies for so long.
A great comfort movie too.
100%. I've seen that movie like I might have seen that movie the most besides like Harry Potter movies. Yeah, very comforting, and that hit at a perfect time because it was after like my first breakup ever with some. Yeah, so dude, it was perfect. Yeah, I can like recite that movie while I'm watching it. It's very funny. It has a lot of heart to it, which I like that combo.
Yeah, real joy, man. I remember watching that a bunch. My wife and I would watch that a bunch. We were super poor, and we just happened to have the DVD, and it was just a nice reprieve from the horror that was poverty.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, there's something aspirational to it, too, because they all have money.
Rob, what do you look for in a romantic partner?
Ooh, I look for... I like a smart lady. emotional intelligence, sense of humor, and kind.
Yes.
I think those are the big things. And then, yeah, I don't have a specific look profile.
Interesting.
Yeah, all my exes look so much different than each other. So, yeah, I don't have like a physical type, really. And also, I'm big into people that want to fuck me. That's awesome.
Rob, when have you felt the most powerful?
When have I felt the most powerful? I think truly like when I'm doing all the right things and I'm just like proud of myself. And like because those are like right now, like I feel pretty powerful because I feel the need for others' approval less because I'm just kind of happy on my own more. And I really like what I'm doing for myself. I feel more confident in myself and I have more like a confidence in the future that things are going to be okay.
Oh, that's cool to hear.
And that's a very powerful feeling, I think. 'Cause I think, you know, when my life is like kind of like spinning out of control and I'm like at my most insecure and I don't even believe in myself anymore. I feel like that's when I'm like really chasing everyone else's approval to like tell me, like it's not coming from within. I'm like, can you tell me I'm great and like funny and stuff like that? And that's when I'm the most in the comments and just looking for all that stuff. You know what I mean?
That shit'll eat you alive.
Yeah, because you got to be careful in this biz because it's like it's very like a hard tightrope act because first of all, I want to preface it with like we decide to do it, so you know what I mean, and you know we get paid from something that's very fun, so it's a cosmic justice that there's an element that's not amazing about it.
Yes.
So I want to preface it by saying I'm aware of that, but there's a thing where like to do your job in this, you require external validation, like in the form of like laughs, subs, Patreon people. Yeah. Like if you don't have those, like if people like aren't laughing, like you're technically not doing your job. Like the outcome is the job, you know, in a way. So you kind of have to like accept like, all right, I'm fine with accepting external validation in this part of my life. But then in my personal life, I have to like sever that and be like, all right, no more. Like I don't care what anyone thinks when I'm not doing this. Yeah. So that was kind of a balance like I struggled with when I was like at my worst mentally. And now like I feel like I have the recipe down a lot more than I did like I don't know, like 8 months ago.
Yeah, it is kind of nuts, and it's like I think when you start to get like some feedback on shit, you really start to like feel for people who are really, you know, kind of thrown into like, you know, being popular. The people that are really popular at shit. Like I couldn't imagine like being to a point where people are so aware of you that it's hard for you to go anywhere without getting recognized.
That sounds like hell.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember reading something about Brad Pitt one time when he talked about all he does is watch Netflix because he can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's horrible, man.
Yeah, that is horrible. I don't want to be big. Like I truly just want to make enough money to like my going to the moon dream out of this is like if I'm making like anything in the world of 6 figures, I'm like truly can't believe this. Anything more than this feels gross. Like that's truly like all I need. Like I don't I wish I got this high a little more that I know like some people do. I think it's very cool, but like a bunch of people knowing me, I don't get like the rush from that I know some people do. Like I think it's cool when I can connect with people that are like-minded. I think that element is really cool, but I don't get a huge rush from being like, oh my God, so many people know who I am. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like not that like Durag's like huge or anything, but it's gotten bigger than I thought it would get. And there's like a weird thing where I don't know how valid it is to even think about this, but I've been thinking about maybe is there like some sort of responsibility with this where, sometimes I feel like in the comedy world, like there's kind of like an attitude of like, I'm just going to say whatever and where the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
Which, you need like some reckless abandon when you are podcasting, because if you're like watching everything you say, obviously like the podcast is going to be as good, because that's just one more filter of self-judgment that you have before you talk, which isn't great. But I've just been kind of like thinking about, the messages that we'll get where someone said like, hey, you really helped me through this hard time. Like I was depressed and like you at least helped me escape from that, or like something like that. Yeah. So that implies that you can have a positive effect. So that must mean it's possible for us to have a negative effect.
It definitely did.
And I kind of think about that with that, like not like on some like PC shit, but like just like the vibe, like the vibe I put out, like I'm a little more conscious of without like overly trying to self-judge. You know what I mean?
Dude, I get it 100%. And I think about that often. Which was something I struggled with for a long time. In primarily like when nobody gave a fuck about anything I did, where I would just be like, bah, this and this and blah, I hate this and fuck these people, and it was just I just sounded like an asshole all the time.
Yeah.
But even now, where it's like I am conscious of people, of a certain number of people listening to things I say, I do try to like measure some of the things that might be hurtful more often. Like case in point. There was one time where I was just talking about a very specific speech impediment. And I got a message from somebody a short time later. They weren't bitching about it. They just happened to mention that they had that specific speech impediment. And I just felt terrible that I singled that out. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that kind of stuff anymore.
Right.
But I did just talk about retarded girls with big jugs. So there might be a retarded girl with big jugs listening right now.
I know, and I said being retarded sucks.
God, I'm so sorry.
But the thing and I'm not perfect with it, but the thing I try to do at least is like make it obvious the way like I feel about things really. You know what I mean? Because sometimes there's like, I think sometimes people listening think we mean it.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean? I don't want to treat the audience with like kid gloves, you know what I mean? Because I believe these are big boys and girls, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't want to like treat them like they're stupid. But there's some people that are. You know? I don't know if that sucks to say, but there's some people who have hit me up where I'm like, you don't get it.
Yeah, it's
and it's made me think a little bit.
No,
but most people get it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just something that's been on my mind. That's all.
No, and I get that, man. Yeah. It's, I don't know. I think that you realize also too. I think the nature of being able to do fun stuff like this, you have more connection to people.
Yes,
and I think having that kind of connection does make you more observant of the way that people feel.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's just age or whatever, but I definitely feel like I want to make people feel good. I don't ever want to make somebody feel bad.
Yeah,
for any circumstance, but I do want to be more conscious of unintentionally hurting somebody.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I don't want to be too doom and gloom about it. This majority rules.
Yes.
Yes.
Rob, if the Beatles were black, would the Abbey Road cover show them walking outside the crosswalk?
Yes. And I don't think they would be as uniform, you know what I mean? I feel like Paul would be like way someone would be like way back. Yes.
Follow-up question, would a subsequent album be renamed Sergeant Lemon Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
Yes, and nice.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Rob. Rob, can you tell me about the first time you fell in love with someone?
My first love was my relationship from like 8th grade to freshman year. Her name was Vanessa.
Oh, beautiful.
And yeah, that was like my first like kind of like relationship, you know what I mean? And then it was nice. She was very funny, very cool. And then like, we went into high school and then you just make different friends and like it's so rare that you're actually it's gonna last at that age. Yeah. But in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm marrying this lady. So, and then, after that breakup, it was great. I never felt anything like that That was crazy because up until that point, all aces for the Crews, basically, besides getting arrested. Like that still ended pretty well. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, it really felt like seeing a new color. Like I can't like explain it. I was like, I didn't even know feeling like this existed. Like it was crazy. Like it felt like going to like feeling space. But you know, it changed everything about me. Like I was never the same since then, but in a good way. Like I changed my friends. I changed like I remember like I was big into lacrosse and I was kind of like in the cool kid club a little bit. And I was just a fucking weeping Bobby like all the time. You know what I mean? And that was gay as hell. And, you know, in the lax bros, like some of them were like kind of like, bro, I get it. And then a lot of them were like, relax. And I was like, yeah, for sure. But then I started hanging out with different people. The shout out Mike Vasity. Sorry, this is a long answer.
No, but hit me. This is what I want.
Yeah. Mike Vasity, he's a therapist now, which makes sense. But he was just such a sweet kid, where he wasn't like bro-y. He was like very like into like artsy stuff and like feelings. He grew up with sisters. So 2 older sisters, and I think that had an effect on him. Like the big thing, he was like very like coming for a hug, Bubba, come here, baby. And like he was the sweetest kid. And actually, I got over it quicker because I can let it out around him. Mm-hmm. And then like I got over it quicker. I feel like there was like a very like isolating thing being around the bros, feeling like you're surrounded by people but you're lonely. Mm-hmm. And then, but when I was with him, like I felt like I felt like. I don't know. I could just like process it, and he was the fucking man. And then hit him up, dude. He's a good therapist, and I think he's trying to start some shit online. But
like fight or a business.
A business. I think he like has like some cool self-help stuff online.
Oh, nice. I don't know. It's very cool that you had that outlet because I couldn't imagine. I didn't get pussy till I got out of high school. Yeah, I could not imagine going through a relationship in high school because it's not like regular life where you could just go your own separate ways. It's like you're going to see this person every fucking day.
Yeah.
And on top of that too, it's like your hormones are through the fucking roof. Everybody's aware of it. The people that hate you probably want to dig the knife in further. Yeah. And at the very least, the people who might be kind you might also like hear them speaking about you or speaking about, you know, I heard she's with so-and-so now or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So it's got to be a fucking nightmare, man. So, you know, what a nice outlet for you to have that.
No, yeah, it was great. And it taught me just how to deal with my emotions and stuff like that. Like I feel like you know how certain movies like when like Citizen Kane happened, like it pushed forward like filmmaking like 10 years. That's what it did for me. Like the breakup, like it made me like emotionally age like 5 years. Whoa. I feel like, and then yeah, it was cool. And then like I changed everything. I was like, I'm just gonna be around people I like and do things I like. So I quit lacrosse and focused on like the band and stuff. And
damn, man,
like I was just like, I'm just gonna be my own person.
Did you have the benefit of like a summer, or did you have to just plow through the school year with all this happening?
That's good. I plowed through the school year. Yeah.
Oh, it's tough, man.
Yeah. But it was a great growing experience. I'm like so thankful that happened.
Dude, you're so healthy, man.
Nah, I'm a fucking retarded mess.
Rob, who was the last person you told that you loved them?
Maybe you.
Oh, thank you.
I try and tell friends I love them a lot.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. That might have been you.
Yeah, you might be the person that I think I call the most just to talk.
Yeah.
And it is nice because for the longest time, I always feel like I'm bothering people.
Yeah.
And I'm conscious of it anytime I'm just having like a normal, even in face-to-face conversation, I feel like I'm bothering people a lot. And there's like an internal alarm that goes off that's just like, all right, go somewhere else right now.
Totally.
But you have a very comforting presence and it's very easy to talk to you. And yeah, you might be the only person that I call just to shoot the shit.
No, and likewise, man. I feel like I I feel like we're very like similar in a lot of ways, and I always felt safe when we were talking.
Gay! Jamie, can you hit the faggot alarm, please?
Damn it, all the buttons are rainbow.
Actually, give me a knife so I can chase Rob around the room right now. Yeah, I do have. Please, if you're not subscribed to the Patreon yet, please subscribe to the Getting Some Head Patreon. I do want to get a faggot robot that just goes around the room and anybody gets too gay on the podcast.
Gang.
At a certain point, his batteries give out. He's bent over. Then another male robot comes along and butt fucks him. But we'll get there eventually. It's one thing at a time.
Yeah,
man.
you do got to butt fuck him, dude. That's his batteries.
Dude. But no, I mean, yeah. I feel similarly in that, it's just, it takes a lot, for me to like feel like I'm not bothering somebody in a conversation.
Yeah.
To just be like, oh, this is a very healthy friendship.
Yeah,
where
for sure.
I can just talk and just, when you're about to hang up the phone, you'd be like, oh shit, we talked for an hour.
Yeah. And you know what the biggest thing with you is you're not judgmental. That's one of the biggest things, dude. Like I hate being judged. And I hate being misunderstood. Those are my two biggest things that like bother me so bad, dude. And that's like partly why like in relationships I need someone that's like emotionally intelligent, because like it sucks when you're just trying to like say how you feel and they're like, what? That shit sucks so bad. And yeah, a lot of people are just fucking judging. Like truly, like I like unless like you like commit like a violent crime against someone, like I don't like it takes so much for me to like judge anyone. I truly don't care what anyone does.
I feel it's crazy.
Maybe to a fault.
No, but I think that's the best way to function, because I don't know, everybody does dumb shit, and I'm sure everybody has shit that they regret doing, but at the same time, like, yeah, unless you truly committed some kind of horrific act of violence or a fucking sex crime,
right,
it's probably whatever to most people.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's I think that's one of the biggest benefits that I've gotten out of just being open and honest about like addiction stuff. It is kind of like open the floodgates to be honest about like other things.
Yes.
But the flip side is I feel like I don't have that, because I know that I was very judgmental for a very long time, and it was just me being insecure about my own shit.
Yeah.
And
no, for sure.
I just wanted to like be like, oh, isn't that terrible? And it's like all of a sudden the attention's not on me and like what I'm not doing or what I'm not achieving or what I'm not exhibiting.
Yeah.
Rob, what is something that brings you joy?
Ooh, good friends, good art, like any kind, like movies, music, good comedy. Whenever like I experience like that soul kind of like flow state thing, that's nice. Then yeah, I think those things.
What do you, when it comes to creative endeavors, what brings you more of a freeing feeling? Comedy, music?
It's so hard to answer because I get different things from all of them. I really like I can like truly let go with like music, not even like the top line stuff, which is like vocal melodies and lyrics and all that stuff's fun, but like making like the actual music, because it's so nonverbal, so like it's truly just like you're like freely expressing almost. Cool. So that's really fun. But then there was like an element of me, like when I was in a band, I felt like I was choking a lot of myself because it's hard. It's kind of more of a thing now, but when I was doing it, it was less of a thing where you can be like actually like fucking retarded. Like you had to be like weird in a cool way. Like Joe Perry like collects like skulls or something. You know what I mean? Like, or like if you were Blink 182 or like something like that, but that's like very much a part of your brain. Like I can't talk about like my stupid fucking penis and then being like, yeah, the song's about like heartbreak. Like it's hard to like strike that balance, and like especially like, kind of like in the Warped Tour scene and stuff like that. There's kind of like, I don't know, like it wasn't everybody, but I felt there was like kind of like a phoniness in the scene a little bit, where there was like a lot of like it's okay to not be okay, like that kind of shit. And then like backstage, people were like, "Faggot," you know. So yeah, like we like Reckless Serenade. If you look up some of those interviews, like
and that was your band.
Yeah, that was the band I was on in Warped Tour. Like we did some interviews in those, and it's like looking at a different person. Truly, like I was so uncomfortable, like great, like I wanted to jump out of my skin. And it could just be me when I see that, but I feel like other people would notice that too. So I feel like from doing this, I've built like the muscle to express myself in a new way like that. You know what I mean? And just kind of be myself more, you know?
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Rob, what job have you hated the most?
Probably this one job I had where it was like a print shop for like t-shirts, and it was kind of just like assembly line stuff where like people would like print the shirt, throw it in like a heating mechanism to like dry the ink, and then I was at the end of the conveyor belt, would just put them in boxes and stuff like that. And that was from like 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m. And it was just like super mindless. And then like it was like a factory setting, so it was like lunchtime, and you would just hear
Oh, Jesus.
like that kind of shit. And that was like pretty like mind numbing. So that kind of sucked. I had like a marketing job at a startup tech company, and that was a harder thing in its own way, where that's more like personality driven, where it was one of the companies where they were like, we like to have fun here, but it's like, get this, they don't like to have fun there. I'm like, can I say like, come in the meeting? No, then it's like, truly, we don't like to have fun here. And then there was like kind of like a culture shock of like language and stuff like that. Like we're talking about like the pipeline and like KPIs, which is like key performance indicators,
Oh, Jesus
which is
Christ,
like,
man.
brother, you're just talking about a motherfucking goal, dude. So like that was a different thing, but I did meet cool people there. But
Were they other people who wanted to talk about cum in meetings?
not as much as I did. But there were some people that like kind of like there was like one or two people that I could kind of like bitch with, which was nice. But yeah, it was kind of a line blurring thing that was hard at times. But yeah. So, and I'm trying to think. I always had like random jobs. Like I worked at Wawa for a little bit. I worked at
Did you like
Bahama
that?
Breeze. It was okay. Like it was just whatever, you know. I don't think like I loved any of those jobs. They were just like kind of whatever.
I could picture you being a very good waiter.
Yeah, I was a host at Bahama Breeze, and then I did Carside to Go at Applebee's, and those were my two service jobs. And the Carside was nice because I didn't memorize the menu at all. Like it was just all over the phone stuff, so I would just read them the menu with the buzzwords. Like if someone asked me like what something was, I'm like, I'm so fucking glad you asked. It's actually 3 savory cheeses blended with it. The whole thing. And I kind of had my Jewy game with the tips. Like if it was cold outside, they gave us like these jackets to wear, but I would on purpose not go out with the jacket. And while they were like signing the thing, I'd be like, rub my arm.
You little shyster, man.
Yeah, I was a little
God.
shyster. Yeah. But yeah.
Rob, do you have a special talent that most people don't know about?
I don't think so. I think everything that I can do, I try and tell people I can do it. maybe like the video editing stuff, like not too many people know about that.
You are pretty sick with that stuff, man.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, I think yeah. The video editing stuff I was like super into for a while. And I think some people, like if they were really into Tim stuff, they would know that I like edited the field trippings and stuff like that. But that was something I really liked doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I have any like hidden things like I'm double jointed or something like that.
I mean, you are kind of a human Swiss Army knife, man. Anything that I've seen you do, you're really good at.
Thanks, dude.
So, Rob, do you have a favorite book?
I remember that kid Mike Faciti gave me his book about flow state. I really like that.
Oh, nice.
But I'm not a big reader. I tried reading Kurt Vonnegut for a little bit, and then I gave up on that. And I've just been replacing it with movies.
Oh.
Yeah.
You still doing a movie club?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's been nice watching like a bunch of movies, just getting in so many stories. I'm basically speed running books.
Yeah. It's. Do you feel as though? Do you feel more interesting when you're consuming a large amount of movies?
I do.
Yeah.
I
similar.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I try not to watch them passively because I'm like, if I'm not going to read books, I got to really take in these movies.
Yeah.
So, and I watch them all by myself. So I'm like rewinding like constantly and like Googling things. Like I just watched the Big Short and I think I must have like paused it like 80 times because there were so many terms I just didn't understand. And after that, I was like, I know a little more than I did before I watched this.
Well, dude, I got the book when that came out, and I didn't make my way through it just because I felt like, all right, this is just, there's too many new terms for me to know. But maybe like 30 pages in, I just felt like, man, like I cannot wait to talk about the financial crisis.
Yes.
But then within like another 30 pages, I was like, all right, this might be too above my pay grade.
Yeah. I mean, it's intentionally difficult. But yeah, I was actually like having like a crisis because I was like, oh, fuck, is like comedy like the 2008 crisis? Are we in a bubble? And I was starting to think about that because like there is like an element of like there's like an optimism and like a rush to the comedy biz right now, where like even like influencers are like getting into it. And everyone's like starting a podcast and stuff like that. And I think there's nothing wrong with like good podcasts and like people that are actually like working a stand up. But I feel like everyone's like in a way like they're like the prices of housing are going to continue to go up. We're fine. And then the audiences are investing, like especially like maybe like in the influencers that are like dipping their toes in stand up, whatever. And so basically like or even like stand-ups that their stand-up got kind of worse from podcasting too much, whatever. And then basically like audiences are giving these performers like subprime mortgage spots and then they're defaulting on their material. And then the crash is going to happen. But, you know, I'm not the arbiter of what's good. You know what I mean? Like my stand-up could be way better. But I was just like, oh, fuck.
What was the guy in The Big Short? Michael... I know Michael Lewis wrote it, but the main character, fucking Batman.
Oh yeah. God damn it, Christian Bale.
Yeah, his character. Yeah. Do you think there's like a version of that guy in the comedy world that is just like, oh no, like I see exactly where this is going to fall apart?
I think it's me. They said the only difference between like the four guys I noticed was they just looked. And I was crunching the numbers. I'm like, this is gonna crash.
Dude, I had that same exact thought today because I was reading it. I think it was like a Variety article about something that just got picked up on a major streaming service, and I was just like, all right, that does like seem cool, but at the same time, this kind of does feel like a predictor that the bottom's going to fall out of all this, and then you start to wonder, like, all right, am I going to be a part of that falling out of the bottom, or do enough people fuck with me as to where like I could survive that?
Right.
And it's a genuine concern. But I mean, the reality is you know, I'm 46, I'm old as shit. I figured it out so far. If the bottom fell out of my entire life, I could figure it out again.
Oh yeah, and you'll be fine. I think that it's the only people that are really going to get hit are the people that aren't doing good stuff. Mm-hmm. I think. Because yeah, there's like a lot of like branding involved, you know, with like crowd work, clips, and that they could be deceitful. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes you look at these people's clips and you think like, oh, this is a AAA loan,
dude. There was a guy.
It's not good, dude.
Yeah, there was a guy that messaged me about coming on this show, and it's a guy I never met before. I'm aware of him through the internet, and he's a guy who I'm pretty sure adds canned laughter to his clips,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure he's using a green screen and he's not performing in comedy clubs.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna be a guy that gets big shorted when the bubble bursts.
Absolutely.
And, no, I do not want you on this podcast, man. Please stay away.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like it's very much like it's creating like a gold rush situation where everyone's investing and stuff like that. But you know, it's mostly good. It's mostly good. I feel like I'm being very doom and gloom about everything.
No, I think you're being very realistic because it's, you know, there's clearly like ebbs and flows historically.
Yeah.
And like right now, it's like, you know, it's kind of, it is like you use the term gold rush.
Yeah.
Kind of what it seems like now for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it is what it is. And I think the benefit, like, I feel like we're both at a similar point in that, you know, we're able to do fun stuff and make a little bit of money doing it, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But not to the point, we're not successful to the point where we can delude ourselves into thinking like, man, my life, I have everything I need, and it's going to be like this forever and ever, and everybody's going to love me, and this is never going to stop.
Right.
It's like, oh boy.
Yeah. It's good to not have the ego behind it of like, I'm set. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think like the dudes that are like really, really making money, like it's got to affect you like on an ego level. And I think some guys are more obvious than others, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to name anybody, but it's just like a part of me like empathizes with them because I don't know, like who could have predicted it would have gotten this big?
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's kind of nuts, man.
And now they're like businessmen, which is crazy.
Yeah, there was a point in I don't know. I was just resigned to the fact for a while that nothing was ever going to come of anything. So I truly feel lucky to be doing anything that I'm doing, that people are supportive of, and also happens, you know, to provide a living for me.
Yeah.
So I feel very lucky to have fucking anything. So I guess it's almost might even be a blessing that there hasn't been like a glut of riches.
Yeah. But you know what? I think you're doing great, and you're going to continue to do great.
Thank you. And I feel the same about you, buddy.
And everyone that I'm friends with is always going to do great. And nothing bad will ever happen to them.
Rob, I got a couple more for you before we wrap this up and head to the Patreon, buddy.
Please.
Rob, do you have a most memorable fart?
Now they all fucking rule, dude. I'm so good at it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? The most memorable fart, it wasn't me, it was someone else. I was with a lady, this was like in my mid-20s, and it was a good relationship, and I think it's because she did this. I think she could tell that I had the fart, so she broke the fart glass.
That's very cool of her.
Yeah. And she really like emphasized it. She did this with her arm. She's like,
whoa.
And it was a guy fart.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I love you. If you make me feel safe like that, like I love you. I know some guys think that's gross, but I think like that was me. I felt seen.
I felt smelled.
Yeah, I felt smelled.
Was it in the car that she did this?
It was on my bed.
Man.
Yeah.
Was there any part of you that was just like, all right, thank you, but please don't do that again?
No, we had a fucking smelly relationship from that point forward.
All right, pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm big on you have to be able to let it rip around your lady. Mm-hmm. You know? I know some people that don't. Mm-hmm. And you know, I get the argument of like you want to keep it sexy.
Yeah.
Because that can take away the sexiness. But it's like, if you're living with that person, are you going to hold in?
No, you can't. And dude, it is nice to have one every now and again where like, because, you know, as the man, I think, you know, you take pride and you also take for granted, you know, just your own fart capabilities. Yeah. You just know that like you could put on a show if you needed to, and you could really, you know, rock the house if you needed to.
For sure. And
it is nice every now and again to have your spouse just like let one loose where it sounds like fucking James Earl Jones is screaming out of her asshole.
Yeah, absolutely. That is nice. But yeah, I guess like it's a fine line where you don't want to do it to the point where it's like, I don't respect you at all.
I haven't found that for myself yet.
Yeah. But, you know, I guess you got to find where people's lines is.
That's one of the things where my dad he was a world-class farter.
Yeah.
And he would not have any reservations about doing it, no matter where we were. And the times where I enjoyed it the most and was also the most embarrassed by him was when we were at the movies. And he would just let it fly.
Yeah.
On top of that, too, I got to see how the sausage was made. And if I had to go into my parents' room for something, like my dad was a pig for a very long time, and he would leave his pants and underwear on the floor next to the bed. And it would just be, it would be like somebody smashed a cupcake in his underwear. It was just a horror show. And you realize, like, all right, so I think part of why, like, these farts are so potent and so unique from an audio perspective is because there's a bunch of shit in your underwear.
Yeah.
Already.
Of course. Yeah, you've that's a good lesson to learn. Like, nothing comes without a cost. There's no free lunch.
Yeah, with great power comes great responsibility, man. It's like,
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's important.
Yeah, I do too. One more question I got for you, Rob, before we move on to Patreon.
Yes.
What is something that you're grateful for right now?
Ooh. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for my family a lot, you know what I mean? Because like they just, both of them, my mom and my dad, they love me so much, dude. It's crazy. And you know, like the older I've gotten, and especially like moving to Philly, like all my friends that I'm close with in Philly, like they've all had horrible childhoods. And you know, I've tried to like trauma match sometimes with like, you know, like Tim will be like, hey, my mom was like a drug addict. I'm like, yeah, sometimes my mom made me feel heard but not seen. But yeah, like, you know, the older I've gotten, the more I've realized that that's not the norm for everybody. You know what I mean? And thankfully, like, you know, after my relationship ended, I didn't have like enough money saved up to, you know, put a down payment on first and last month and pay rent, like on top of that. So like my parents were like, of course you can stay here. You know what I mean? And it wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? Like they've just always like supported me, and I'm just like so lucky for that. And there's not a day goes by that I don't recognize that. So yeah, I would say that. And then my Jersey friends too, I've been able to like reconnect with them a lot.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I'm lucky that like not a ton of my like friends from like high school like moved away. Like a lot of them are still in the area, and that's fucking righteous. So yeah, no, I'm grateful for that, man.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That shit's great to hear.
Yeah, baby. And yeah, I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, like you might be the only person that I feel good about just calling for a long extended period of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it means a lot to me that I'm able to do that, and that, you know, you're always so fucking cool about it.
No, I always love talking to you, buddy.
Likewise.
You're the best, man.
Likewise, homie.
Yeah, dude.
Is there anything you want to ask me before we go?
Ooh. What are you hoping to get out of Austin?
I'm excited.
Is that public knowledge?
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
know? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be there in I think 3 or 4 months. 4 months.
Because it's a huge thing. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I am excited. I'm
excited.
Very
for you.
nervous.
Yeah.
We just went last week. My wife, kids, and I. We went to Austin, and we were checking out different neighborhoods, and we narrowed it down to a couple places that we would like to live. And I'm glad we did it. And I came back more fired up than usual. I feel like I'm most days like I wake up motivated.
Yeah.
But more so now than I was a couple weeks ago before we left. I can't wait to go, man. More than anything, I'm excited for. I've always felt self-conscious about never leaving the town where I grew up in. And I always, even though there's a lot of things I could point to which are clear indicators that I'm further along than I was, 5, 10, 15 years ago, there's always been a part of me that felt like a loser for never leaving my hometown.
Yeah.
So to me, this would be like an indicator that I'm at least like trying something different, and I'm going to make a big change. And I know it's going to be good. There's a lot of very cool shit out there. So aside from just like the personal stuff and knowing that it'll be a better quality of life for my family, I want to get better at stand up, man.
Yeah.
And there's just so many more opportunities to do that. And I just want to see how good I can get doing this shit, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love doing it, but at the same time, I feel like I don't do it enough now to really like maximize what I can do. So I'm very excited for the chance to do more.
Yeah, there's definitely way more opportunity to do spots, you know what I mean, that aren't like open mics. Like in Philly, you can do multiple spots a night, but they're mostly open mics. And then, you know, that's cool at first, but you're not getting the best data because it's not always like real audiences, you know what I mean? So then like at open mics, like sometimes like your material can be like open micified where like you're getting too meta on stage or like something like that. But yeah, dude, I think you're going to absolutely crush it. I'm so proud of you for making the move,
Thank you,
know,
dude.
like, because you're just a true like original and you're such a great writer and your work ethic is fucking great. Like usually with comics, like we all have ideas and we don't do them and you like do your ideas. Like, I feel like you told me about like you wanted to do this podcast like a month ago and you're doing the first episode now, you know what I mean? And the fact that you're doing like the book stuff, it's just crazy, man. Like, truly, like if I believe in anyone, it's you, dude.
Oh,
so I
you,
think
man.
you're going to do great.
Thank you, dude.
And I'm excited for you,
man.
Yeah.
I'm pumped, man.
Yeah, dude.
Rob, I cannot thank you enough. And we're going to do another hour, baby.
Please.
And we're going to head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/getinsomehead. There's a handful of $1 slots available. There's going to be new episodes every week. There's going to be a live AMA each month. There's also going to be a live guest episode. So get in on the Patreon for that. And I cannot wait to do more of these. And Rob, there's so many questions I didn't even get to. And I know even on the Patreon, I'm not going to get through all the questions that I had printed out for you.
Yeah.
So I feel like we could sit here fucking 10 times and I could still learn new things about you, dude.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Well, I'm excited for the page. This has been so fun.
Thank you, dude. This was a ton of fun for me. And it's fun to like learn new things about you, dude.
Yeah, baby.
You're the best.
Love you, man.
All right. Love you too, buddy. We'll see you guys on the Patreon later. Oh, wait. Do you want to promote your shows?
Oh, but when does this come out?
Next week.
Next week. So check me out with Mike in Columbus, Mississippi, April 11th and 12th. That'll be fucking tight. And then just check out Durag and the Deertag, baby. Patreon.com/Durag and the Deertag. And that's it.
Dude, the funniest podcast, man.
Thanks, dude. It's very fun. I feel like we're on a good kick right now. So check it out, baby.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll see you guys over at the Patreon.